In the past 3 months or so, we've seen a lot of new Spectra 6 panels pop up. So I've been trying to keep track of them, and I'm gonna share a little bit of the ones that are just coming out or are pending in the next couple weeks for launch. Now I saved the most interesting one for the end. So the Aura ink looks to be like the 13.3 inch panel. Now Aura in general, I think is one of those frame companies, a little bit like Lumicap where they make a lot of those smart frames. You can see on their site they have the traditional LCD panels, and then the newest one is the Aura Ink 13 here. It is claiming lower battery life than a lot of these. There is a little asterisk there. Let's see what the asterisk says. Up to 3 months of battery life when changing one photo per day. Okay, so yeah, if you use it less than that, it could last probably up to 6 months to a year. But yeah, it's the 13.3 inch. I think this is the 150 DPI panel. One thing interesting I saw was automatically adjust brightness. I'm not sure how you're doing that with Spectra because it doesn't really have brightness. It is reflective. I'm not sure what they mean by that. But it does look like a very thin profile piece. Whereas these, you can see they have a little more raised texture on the frame part. This one looks like it's almost more flush in general. Almost a little more akin to this, but the frame is a little bit bigger on that. You can see it's about a 0.6 inch profile. So relatively thin there. You can see on this one, this angle, the recess there is much smaller in general. It looks like it's just this generic color that's launching. Actually, I'm surprised at the price at $4.99. That is a little bit on the pricier side. It's getting up there towards the ink poster prices. But anyways, it looks like they are having a Black Friday discount right now. I'll link all these frames I'm talking about below. But if you're watching this video when it comes out, a lot of these Black Friday deals will probably still be going. So next up, this one's pretty interesting. This one reminds me a lot, obviously, of a classic Polaroid style photo, which is kind of cool because it's a different format than we've seen traditionally. Okay, so I entered my email. I've reached out to some of these companies. This one I haven't. I will reach out to them. But anyways, cool form factor, very different. So something smaller like this, you can see it has a magnetic back, so you could probably pop it on the fridge easily. And then there is also a little foldable stand. These Spectra panels, you know, they normally don't advertise doing memos and shopping lists, but perhaps that's something that this format is more usable for. And it comes in blue, red, and white. I'm not 100% sure if this is Spectra 6. So you can see on traditional Spectra 6, you know, it's a 4-particle system with the blue on the bottom there, the yellow, the red, and the white. It is a little hard to tell from this if that's black or blue, but it does look like a 4-color type system. If you know if this is Spectra 6 or if it's a different version of Spectra, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. I couldn't really find much on the website, but you can see it's very thin, 6 millimeters thick, and about that 1-year refresh time. So you can see it there on a fridge, for example, and on a little nightstand. The colors do look pretty good from the photos I'm seeing here. Then again, it's hard to trust some of these websites because sometimes they superimpose images and it's not the actual image that the device is showing. You can see it has a little built-in battery there, pretty small, 550 milliamp hours, and it's very light at 69 grams. Nice. So here they're just comparing it to photo paper and your phone gallery. And then you can obviously upload with the phone, and you can auto shuffle, or I guess there's a gyro in there when it's opening. That's interesting. So I guess you could get a little refresh every time you use the fridge. Then the next one is the company Switchbot. So Switchbot, I think traditionally has been known for a lot of little in-home type things, robots and switches and things like that, like a lot of smart home stuff. If we go back just to the frame now, they're offering a lot of different sizes. So they have, you know, bundle packs, and then they have the 7.3 inch, which mind you is one of the lower DPI models, then the 13.3 inch, and then the 31.5 is also a relatively low DPI model. But interesting that they're doing different sizes. And then you can see the 7.3 is 150. The 13.3 is going to be 350. Their Black Friday deal is going on, so this might be one of the lowest prices you can get for the 13.3 inch panel right now. But then the 31.5 is relatively expensive at $1,300. But yeah, it looks like maybe you can get that code now if you're watching this. And this is on pre-order. Switchbot is a pretty reputable company, so this seems like a low risk option if you're trying to save some money and get some of these Black Friday discounts here. You can see the 3 panels there together, just to give you a size reference. And obviously because they're a smart home type company, they're going to have smart scheduling with the app control and all that. And it should work with the Switchbot app. And here they're just comparing it to Kaleido and LCDs. And it looks like they'll have the ability to do AI creation in the app. Not sure what this auto display is that they're showing, but just seems to me like there's more sunlight coming in. Or maybe, okay, maybe there's integration with the lighting systems because they have smart home control stuff. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look into that more. 2-year long battery life. And then they are compatible with the IKEA Rodalm frames, which I think Bluminate also does. If you don't like the frame that it comes in, or if you just want to swap that out on the cheap side, you can do that with the IKEA frames, which is good to see. So anyways, this one's launching soon and it's on pre-order right now. And then this one I really don't have much information about, but I did get some ads for it. It's this company Mospace. I believe they're a Japanese company that sells just a lot of knickknacks and gadgets and whatnot. And I did see their ad for this Lumicap frame that they're doing that's Spectra 6. It looks kind of like the generic 13.3 that almost every company that's getting into Spectra 6 seems to be doing now. And then it looks like they have a smaller one there. That was maybe the 7.3. Yeah, low details here. If you know more about this, let me know in the comments. I will try to peruse their site a little bit more. And then quick little side tangent before we get into the last most interesting one here. But you know, something like this Samsung Music frame, I was really surprised when I saw this in Best Buy the other day because it's not even a screen. It's just like you can insert a photo there and then it can play music. But then I saw this one that's coming out that is a smart speaker that's a frame, but then I think the image is changeable like some sort of screen. I think 2 devices like this are perfect for Spectra 6. If we could get stuff more in a square frame, kind of like the Samsung, it'd be really cool to display album art, have an integrated speaker of some sort, and you know, when a song's ending, then it could start refreshing, and then when the new song is there, it's already displaying the art for that new song or an album, for example. I think that's something that Spectra 6 would be really cool for because it's not updating that often. If any manufacturers that make these panels are listening, that is something cool that I'd really like to see. So Inkjoy seems pretty interesting. They have a lot of different size panels that I haven't seen from some other companies. It looks like they're, you know, using a proprietary algorithm, but I believe most of these are in general. What's cool about this one is that there's 2 sizes that I have not seen from any other manufacturer, and that would be this 10-inch. You can see, actually they even put a world's first here. The 10-inch is the highest DPI I've seen. I believe that is the maximum that Spectra will max out at. Oh, you know what? Maybe this 4-inch is what that little pick pack panel is using. Who knows? And you can see this one's 180 DPI, for example, this little 4-inch. So 200 DPI is the highest I've seen. The 25.3 inch, which is I think a poster style, kind of like the 16 by 9. Yep, right here. I believe the 31.5 is also 16 by 9, but the 25.3 is much higher DPI than that 31.5. It seems like they're also using the IKEA Rodalm. So this is one of the interesting factors. The CEO of the Inkjoy team is actually the former founder and CTO of Dasung, the company that makes a lot of e-ink display panels. I read a post on Reddit the other day that they're really committed to Spectra and they really want to push the technology to its limits. Whether that means like localized re-rendering instead of full flashes or stuff like that. It's cool to see someone that's experienced in the e-ink world get into this. And they'll be launching on Kickstarter soon, so I'll link that below too when they do launch. Yeah, a lot of variety of panels here. And then quick tangent on this, I posted on Reddit like 2 weeks ago. I had missed this, but on the e-ink website, I saw that they make a 75-inch Spectra 6 panel. So setting a new standard for vivid and sustainable digital signage. And then I just posted on Reddit, Ray from Inkjoy actually responded and it looks like he was looking at the 75-inch panel. You can see that's probably like a 13.3 or a 10 next to it, but absolutely gigantic. I mean, this is like the size of most modern OLED or LCD TVs that are pretty big. But he said the sample panel is $8,000. So yeah, compared to a 13.3, yeah. But so who knows, are they playing around with this for massive art, or is that just, you know, a test panel for them to develop stuff? So yeah, just a quick update. If you want to see my latest review of the Allure Tech, you can check that out here. Or if you want to see some more Spectra 6 content, I have a whole playlist right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.